Welcome to Powerful, Wild, and Magical, the podcast for the female leader who wants to reconnect with her true essence, step into her divine feminine power, and make a huge impact in the world. I am your host, Nadia Gargalo, and today I am bringing my first solo episode. So let me introduce myself. I am an intuitive success coach, and I help female entrepreneurs with subconscious reprogramming, energetics, and aligned strategy to become magnetic and attract soul clients and limitless abundance into their business and life. Today, in this solo episode, I will be talking about balancing masculine and feminine energies to become magnetic and create ease and flow in your business and life. I will be sharing with you what masculine and feminine energies are, how they are affecting your business and life, how to recognize if you are in the wounded masculine or feminine, and how to balance these energies to become magnetic and create ease and flow. So let's get into all the juiciness. Okay, so the first thing I want to address is what are masculine and feminine energies. So these are traits that we all have within. It has nothing to do with your gender. If you are a female or a male, we both have these energies. And everything created in the universe is created with these two energies. So the masculine energy traits will be the doing and the giving. So it's your left side of the brain, and is where the thinking is, the logic is strategical, is all about technical things, scientific, numerical, tangible, linear, is rigid, is very structured, is results driven, goal oriented, is all about organization, action, control, rules, individuality, and competition. And the feminine energy traits are all about being and receiving. Okay, so the masculine will be the giving and the feminine is the receiving. So it's the right side of the brain and is where creativity is purpose driven, is all about inspiration, alignment, intuition, about emotions, connection, trust, the divine, wisdom, nurturing, is about community, collaboration, flexibility, pleasure, play, and flow. So we all have these two energies, but what happened is because of the society we live in, we have learned to work in a very injured masculine energy. So first, a lot of feminine traits were suppressed. And as women, we had a very big connection with other women, with nature, with the moon cycles. But this started to be seen as witchy, and we started to be pursued by people and burned and all these crazy things that happen. So we started first to disconnect from our essence. Then we were told to just stay quiet, to not to work, to just take care of the kids, of the house, of being nice, of being quiet, of not talking too much, of not making too much noise, and just be this kind, nice girl, and to not have dreams, to not fight for bigger things, to just conform with being a wife, being a mom, and looking after our families and not making too much noise. But what happened is that it got to a point where women started to claim their independence, and we started to go into the corporate world, and we started to compete with all this masculine world. And it's just not that we were competing with male, it's just that the society has been running in a very wounded masculine energy, and we're going to get into that deeper in a bit. So we went into the corporate world and we started to compete with the masculine, and we started to take so many things on and fight and compete and do all the things and start to put our worth in how much we could do and how much we could achieve. And we were completely disconnected from our true essence. So we just started to be burnout, feel unfulfilled, be very confused about our dreams and our purpose. And this just got us into a very dark place where we were feeling unfulfilled, where we knew something was not working, but we still kept pushing. So this is where society got us. And now is the time to really reconnect with your true essence, reconnect with that feminine power that we have, because the feminine energy is the energy of receiving. So when you are in your masculine energy of doing and giving all the time, we are blocking the magic. Okay, the magic is in the balance of both of them. But if you are not using any of the feminine, you are not going to be creating that magic, those manifestations, the magnetism, the ease and the flow, because everything of that is in the feminine energy. So by being in your masculine, you are blocking all these things and you are creating resistance to receive. And here is where we see women in business not attracting the clients, not being magnetic, not attracting the money, because that masculine energy is just creating resistance and blocking the receiving part. So I'm gonna get into nine points on how to recognize if you are in your masculine, and another 9 into how to recognize if you are in your feminine, because too much of either of them is negative. Because when something is not balanced and you go to extremes, then when you have too much of one, there is too little of the other. Okay, and the beauty of this, where all the magic happens, is in using the masculine and feminine in the right balance and in the divine form of those energies. So let's start with your masculine, and if you can take notes, go ahead and do it, because this is going to be so eye-opening. So the 9 points on how to know if you are in your masculine. 1, overthinking and worrying about everything. Okay, if you are overthinking and worrying about everything, it means you have no trust, which is a feminine trait, and you are too much in your mind. Okay, so that's masculine, is negative masculine. Number 2, over controlling, which you are going to find hard to delegate or trust. Okay, so again, when you are over controlling, it means you don't trust. You don't trust other people, you don't trust the universe, you don't trust things happening in whatever way they need to happen for you. So over controlling, you are really blocking the magic of limitless possibilities. If you are trying to figure out all the hows and control every single step of your business and your life, you are blocking the magic of all possibilities, which lie in the unknown. Number 3, plans too much can't be playful. Okay, so if you are a person who plans everything, you need to stick to your schedule and can't be playful, then you are too much in your masculine. Number 4, can't be flexible, it struggles when things don't go according to plan. So this relates a little bit to point 3, but it's not just about planning everything. Are you struggling when things don't go according to plan? So is it difficult for you to be flexible and change things? Number 5, overworked, burnt out, users doing to prove worth. Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier when we went into the corporate world and compete with this masculine world, we started to push and do and prove our worth on how much we could do and how much we could compete with all these men and how much we could scale the corporate ladder. And we found ourselves overworked and burnt out. So if you're finding yourself overworked and burnt out and doing other things to prove your worth, that's injured masculine. Number 6, pushes and forces, neglecting own well-being and desires. Okay, so the masculine energy is about the doing, as we said. So when you're finding yourself pushing too much, neglecting your own well-being, neglecting how you feel, neglecting that you're actually feeling burnout or tired or whatever that is, if you are pushing and forcing, that's again your injured masculine. Number 7, uses power to manipulate. And this might sound very strong, but especially women, when they are in the injured masculine, they can use power to manipulate, like in relationships, at work, if you're a manager, if you have your own business, maybe you are saying little lies to manipulate people or like your team, or using your position to manipulate your team. So using power to manipulate is injured masculine, which power is good, but the good way of using power, not in a way that's manipulative or to control others. Number 9, feels stressed and anxious. So when you are just rushing and you are not allowing yourself to slow down, to pause for pleasure and other things in life, you are going to feel stressed and anxious. So if you are feeling this, again, you are too much in your masculine and you're pushing probably too much or forcing yourself too much. And number 9, it's competitive and feels the world as a threatening place. So if you're finding yourself competing, comparing to others as well, if you come across other women in business, in the entrepreneurial world, if you are a coach, service provider, and you see yourself triggered by these other women, that means you are in competing mode. That means that you find that others are threatening, that the world is threatening, and there is no space for everyone. And that's, again, your injured masculine. But the truth is that there is plenty for everyone. The universe, the world is limitless. So if you find yourself in that position, injured masculine. So let's get into the 9 of the injured feminine. Number 1 is life is a chaos. There is no organization. So when you are lacking the masculine, everything is going to be a chaos. You are going to find hard to organize. Number 2 is struggles to plan and have a structure. So if you are finding hard to create habits to create some structure in your life, that's a sign that you are lacking the divine masculine and you are too much in your feminine. Number 3, can't take action, lack of a strategy. Again, a lot of times when you can't take action, it's because you are missing that masculine part. So you don't know what steps you need to take. Number 4, emotional roller coaster. If you are too much in your feminine, you're gonna be super tuned to your emotions, not knowing how to step out of them, and you're gonna be in an emotional roller coaster. So everything is gonna be a drama, and every emotion that you feel is going to feel like your life is in it. So it's going to be difficult for you to separate from those emotions. Number 5, she's in the clouds, doesn't want to take life seriously. So it's good to dream, it's good to have big goals, but if you are too dreamy, If you are just in the clouds and you don't want to take life seriously, which is not about not being playful and pleasure, that's not at all, because feminine energy is a lot, the divine feminine is a lot about pleasure and play, and it's super important. But if you don't want to take anything seriously and take the action and say, okay, I need to commit to this, or I need to be responsible with this, and do it and get through it, and this is consistent in your life showing up, then you are too much in your feminine. Number 6, very unstable and cannot stick to things. Okay, so same as you were very connected with your emotions, you are going to be, so the masculine was very rigid, you are going to be too flexible to the point that you cannot stick to things. Okay, so you are very unstable, you try to commit to something and then nothing happens. Then number 7, procrastinates and feels lazy. So this is super of the feminine, and is very related to the first few points on no organization, lack of a structure, lack of a strategy, not taking life seriously. All these things lead to procrastination. Okay, because you are not going to be able to take action, but then you procrastinate and you don't understand why, and you feel you are being lazy, but it's because you don't have this balance with the masculine. Number 8, puts always pleasure first and doesn't get things done. So as I said, pleasure is a super important bit to the whole piece. But if you are always prioritizing pleasure and you're not taking the action or leaving things for later, it's not at the right time, then you are in your injured feminine. Then number 9, it feels overwhelmed. Too many ideas she can put together. So this is very of the feminine, because the feminine is creative. So you're going to have all these ideas, all these things you want to do, but you have no idea on how to put them together. So you start feeling very overwhelmed. So these are the 9 points. I'm pretty sure you can recognize yourself in a few of many of them. And it's more likely that you feel very identified with a lot of them in the masculine side, because we have been playing in this negative masculine in society for a very, very long time. But some of you might still find a lot in the feminine. For myself, what I found, it was the masculine. So my journey of balancing these two energies has been to really tap into the feminine, because I was really in my enduring masculine, and it has caused a lot of struggle in my life, starting from pushing myself too much, being super demanding on myself, very goal oriented. I was just always focusing on the end goal instead of the journey, instead of how I will feel. And in the present, I was always feeling lack. There was always something missing, because my happiness, my worth was always in the goal. So this caused me to end up suffering from binge eating, because I went really hard into the fitness world. I started to exercise extremely, do weights, go to the gym 6 times a week for like 1.5 to 2 hours, eating very restrictively, dieting, and all of this caused me to end up with binge eating disorder and starting to have bulimia. So it got to the point that I even vomited a few times, and it's when I said enough is enough. And this is because how hard I was pushing myself to achieve things. Then I burned out twice in my life as well, because of pushing myself again too much, of all the things that I wanted to achieve. At a point, I had 3 jobs. So at a point, I had my 9-to-5 job. I was teaching Latin dances. I was also building my business. So I was doing so many things just because my feeling of success was in achieving, my worth was in achieving. So I just kept pushing, and I burned out twice. And I had to actually take a break, stop from everything I was doing. I even decided to quit my 9 to 5, but it took me again a good 2-3 months to pull myself back into balance and action. Then another thing that really showed up for myself was controlling. So I was always over controlling everything I did. Relationships, the things in my business, especially, like I saw this pattern in relationships a lot. I was always with my partners. I was the one not really controlling in terms of jealousy or anything like that, because I've never been jealous, but I had to be the one controlling the finances and everything at home, and telling them what to do and what not to do, and what to wear and what not to wear. So this really got me into unhappy relationships. When it came to my business, I really struggled with the unknown. So whenever I didn't know what was going to happen, it will create this crazy anxiety. I will feel so unsafe, and it will get me to push and chase. And this was creating no results in my business. I couldn't be magnetic because I was always doing forcing, pushing, chasing. And it was so frustrating. I was for almost 2 years in my business doing so much work, working so hard and not getting results. And I was completely about to fully give up, but I didn't. And I managed to come across the masculine and feminine, and this was life-changing for me. So how can you balance the masculine and feminine? The first thing I want to mention is that conditioning from society, from your parents, from everything you have learned since you are a child, everything you have absorbed, have created subconscious beliefs that are going to hold you back. For me, in my journey, when I started to tap into my feminine, like I could feel how my nervous system was triggered. So I could feel how my body was resisting to slowing down, to bring more pleasure, because I would feel I was lazy, I was not doing enough. How I was going to prove my worth? I had to be responsible, I had to be consistent, I have to be like doing all the things. Otherwise, I will feel panic. Like my body will go into panic, and all these beliefs will come up. And that will kind of create resistance in being in my feminine. So a very important part of this is working on subconscious reprogramming, on healing your traumas, your limiting beliefs, your past experiences, so you can really step in the feeling safe. Because when we don't heal and when we don't work in this, you are going to feel that resistance. And if you are trying to tap into your feminine and that resistance is happening, your nervous system is being triggered, you are not going to fully step into that. So it's very, very important to do this kind of work. And then aside from that, where like you can actually find a lot of techniques, I work with NLP and hypnosis for subconscious reprogramming. So that those are 2 techniques, but there are tons of techniques right now, more on the energetic side or more on the subconscious psychological side, if you want to call it that way. You can find your own, like even just playing at night before you go to bed, when you are falling asleep, audios to reprogram your mind, they work amazingly as well. So just find your thing to start working on that. But I will always encourage you to work with someone who can help you to decondition, to work on the subconscious reprogramming and healing, which is super, super powerful. Then I want you to reflect on a few questions. So how can you be more in the present? So that's the first thing. I don't want you to be in the goal. I don't want you to be in that outcome. Be in the present and check within how you feel. Okay, how am I feeling in the present? Am I feeling good or am I feeling anxious? Like, what exactly am I feeling? Because that's going to give you a very, very good indication of being in alignment or not. Okay, then how can you let go of control or overthinking if that's happening to you? What things are you controlling and how can you let go of that control, of that worry, that overthinking? For stepping more into the feminine, how can you bring more pleasure to your day-to-day and slow down? This is a big, big one. Okay, the feminine needs you to slow down. It needs to connect with yourself, with your intuition, with your inner wisdom. And for that, you need time for yourself to slow down. And you need to also be in your pleasure. Do the things that you love. This is how you connect with your intuition. Okay, intuition is going to tell you this feels right, so go in this direction. This doesn't feel right, don't go into this direction. So bringing the pleasure into the things that you do, checking with yourself if the things that you do are making you feel good or bad, that's going to be huge for you. Okay, then how can you have a structure and take action without being too rigid or without pushing and forcing yourself? If you are too much in your feminine, how can you bring a structure and take action, even if it's just tiny steps? Because every single step matters. Okay, so whether you are too much in your masculine or feminine, this question is a good one. So how can you have a structure and take action without being too rigid if you are in your masculine? Or how can you take even a small action if you are too much in your feminine? Then, big question again, how can you trust and surrender more? Because the feminine, the receiving, the magic is all about trust and surrender. So how can you trust and surrender more? How can you let go of knowing all the hows? How can you step into that unknown, feeling safe? Because you are safe. You are actually guided. The universe is supporting you and wants to provide you with everything that you desire. So how can you trust more into that divine plan for you? And how can you surrender to that? Which means stop overthinking, stop worrying if things are not working, and surrender. How can you step into that feeling more? This was huge for me. It was huge for me when I started to fully step into the surrender and trust without feeling that resistance. Everything has started to change. And I started to attract the clients, to magnet the things that I desire without any effort. I stopped completely chasing and working and doing all the things and pushing. And everything became just effortless. I'm not saying effortless is not doing anything. I'm still taking action, but just inspired action and just action that feels good. I'm not forcing myself anymore, which means I'm working less, but attracting more. So these are the questions I want you to reflect on. And I really, really recommend you to meditate, to connect, as I said, slow down, connect with your intuition, ask yourself questions, and trust the answers that you are receiving. Feel into the receiving. Feel how having the things that you want feel in your body already. That's embodiment, and that's a very, very big piece. And if resistance comes up, then see why that resistance is coming up and clear those limiting beliefs. And then take inspired action every single day. And inspired action doesn't mean every single day is going to be massive action. Some days it's going to be massive action. Some other days it's going to be tiny action. Some other days it's going to be just resting and focusing on pleasure. Every day that inspired action, that aligned action is going to be different. So commit to take that action and show up consistently for yourself and your dreams, wherever that is each day, because each day is going to be different. This doesn't mean working hard every single day, doing all the things every single day. Inspired action is not about that. It's about alignment. It's about taking the action that feels good every single day, whether that's big or small. Okay, so this is all from me in balancing the masculine and feminine. If your guys are feeling called to know more about this, or you have any questions about the subconscious reprogramming, how to get into this, or how to do more of this work, please go find me on Instagram. I would love to connect with you. Come and chat. If you are feeling called to work with me or know how you can work with me, please come and chat with me again. And I'm going to leave all the links in the show notes. So please come and say hi. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked this episode. If you did, please subscribe, share it, tag me, and share your thoughts and work them out for you. I would love to connect with you. Follow me on Instagram, where you can find more of what I do and reach me out on the DMs. I will see you in the next episode, Powerful, Wild, and Magical Being.